You both said today that you love each other, and I believe it, but I'm trying to tell you, love is not enough for a successful marriage. There's so many other things that go in it. It's not just about you anymore.
Here is today's case.
And you're using your job as an excuse to check out.
The only person that kept popping into my mind was Mr. Gaines. We were pregnant within 3 weeks. We don't know how to go back to what we were before.
You jumped into a relationship and then to a marriage without knowing each other.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this is the case of Gaines versus Gaines.
Thank you, Juan. Christina Gaines?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have brought your husband, Charles Gaines,
Yes, Your Honor.
to court today. You said that during the marriage, he has become emotionally and physically unavailable.
Correct.
And you are ready to discuss these issues today. Why don't you give me some background, ma'am? Tell me what's happening.
Well, me and Mr. Gaines have known each other since we were 14. We've dated throughout the years, and our intimacy has always been like a level 1,000. We're always touching, kissing, intimate. But now that we got back together this time and had the baby, it went from I'd say at least 15, 20 encounters a week to 0.
Okay.
Our children are special needs, so I feel like they take all of our energy and
How many
all of our
children
time.
do you have?
2. Also, Mr. Gaines works way too much. Another thing that was an issue was postpartum. I became really insecure due to the lack of intimacy. So we kind of just stopped doing it slowly. But now over time, it's routine now. Now it's been 5 years, and now we don't even sit next to each other on the couch.
Why don't you give me some background, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. So like she said, we don't have a lot of communication. We don't have a lot of time together.
Are you working a lot?
Yes, a lot. I'm working 12 days straight. I'm doing 10, 12-hour shifts every day.
So 12 days in a row?
Yes.
10 to 12 hours a day?
Yes.
So you're rarely home?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that would also explain why you say that the relationship has evolved the way it has in
Yes,
terms
Your
of the
Honor.
time that you spend together, because there is no time.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
you're working all the time. But you don't work, right? Because you're stay-at-home mom to the 2 children who
which
need
that
you to be
kind
there.
of affects me too. I was in college since I was 16. I have 4 degrees in healthcare. I always wanted to work, but I can't.
When did you stop working?
About 10 years ago, actually.
The 2 of you have only been married for 1 year?
1 year.
But you've been back and forth in this relationship since you were teenagers?
Yeah, for about 19, 20 years, yeah.
Okay, so what made you decide to get married a year ago?
I was going through things in my life, and I was just feeling displaced, unloved, alone. And I'm like, the only person that kept popping into my mind was Mr. Gaines. So I looked him up on social media, and I found him. And I sent him an inbox, and I asked him, how has he been? How is everything going? And then I asked him if he was single. I get right to the point.
Okay.
And he let me know he was single, that he was still thinking about me. I invited him to come over. He came over. Let's just say the fireworks were still there, and that was it. We were back together. We were pregnant within 3 weeks. We talked about it and decided to get pregnant. And then we were engaged shortly after.
And what was the reason you decided to propose?
Basically, Your Honor, she was the only woman that I ever thought about marrying. There was no other female that I've been in a relationship with that I ever had the inkling of marriage for.
Beautiful wedding photos.
Thank you.
And I asked that question because the 2 of you have been off and on for so long. You only married a year ago, but here you are 1 year later here.
Yeah.
So this is not one of those scenarios where it was you jumped into a relationship and then to a marriage without knowing each other,
No.
because you spent time together off and on throughout the years. Did you live together before you got married?
Yes, a few times.
So what is and I understand the other issues that come up with you having to stay home and having to give so much attention to your children. But what is the crux of why you are in court today?
I think the reason why we're in court today is because this time around when we got back together, we were adults. We're grown now. We broke up because we would butt heads and think we could do better, but we couldn't. So when we got back together this time, I think what really happened is we're pregnant. My pregnancies are horrific. We had 4 to 6 doctor's appointments per week while I was pregnant because I was so sick pregnant. I feel like Mr. Gaines, sometimes I would be like, no, don't touch me, I don't feel good. So he kind of didn't want to bother me with trying to be intimate or physical because I was so sick that after I had the baby, it became like I had postpartum and then I became paranoid and very insecure. It was bad. We couldn't even go to a department store. If we went to a department store and I was looking for something to buy and he was trying to help me like find my size or something, and a woman would walk past, and if he was looking that way, I would just start crying. Oh, why are you looking at her, not me? You don't love me anymore. You know, and I would embarrass him. And now I'm embarrassed by it. Mm-hmm. And now that I'm out of my depression and I'm doing better with my anxiety, it's kind of like we don't know how to go back to what we were before.
How do you say this insecurity has impacted your marriage, her admitted insecurities?
Yes, it's impacted the marriage a lot, Your Honor. It's like I don't feel comfortable at just being a regular person. Like if I'm at a store and the person that works there is a female, I really don't want to talk to her because I'm worried about her reaction. You know, I'm worried about her accusing me of trying to date her or get her phone number or whatever. Like I'm just trying to find out where the milk is, you know? It's just things I don't understand.
So you can't even ask for milk if it's a woman?
Yeah, like when I go to work and I talk about like us at the job having conversations, if I bring up that there were a woman in the conversation, why are you talking to the women at work? I was like, because she works there and there was like 7 people standing there talking. Like I wasn't just talking to the woman, we were all standing there talking.
To the group.
It's a group. So it's like things like that. It's a little hard to deal with.
Well,
In
it's
my defense,
very hard to deal with unless you confine yourself to only talking and being around men.
Exactly. And
which
that's
is not possible.
in my crazy woman mind, I'm creating him a list to go unblock. And I sat there for hours, happily, with a smile on, delete, delete, delete. You're not gonna be looking at this girl's butt while I'm sleeping.
Have the two of you discussed these issues and talked and tried to communicate? And what about what was going on with your phone?
A lot of the times, like she'd come up with a picture of a girl, like, who is this? Why is she wearing this? And like, that's one of my cousins. Like I've got
on social
lots
media?
of cousins. Yeah, on social media. And like, it was a couple of like 12-year-old pictures that I had no idea was still even coming onto my Facebook feed because I'm barely on Facebook at all unless
you're
she
working
tagged me
all
and
the
stuff.
time.
Yeah, and like
Your
she
Honor.
deleted a lot of my female friends from my other jobs and stuff.
Because you told me to?
I gave her permission to do it because it was a problem for her, not because it was something going on or was something wrong with. I believed that it was wrong for me to have them as friends. I just didn't want to keep having the argument about having them on my page.
So you just started avoiding talking to women at the stores.
Exactly.
And started giving her access to all your social media
Just
so she could
delete
see.
whoever you feel comfortable deleting, whatever. I don't
Just
care.
gave in. Just
I just want to
acquiesced.
keep having the same argument about people that really doesn't make that much sense to
How
argue
long
about.
have you been working as much as you've been working?
About a year almost.
So this changed about a year ago when the
Yeah.
two of you got married?
Yeah.
Prior to that, you had more time?
I had more
you
time
were spending
off.
more
It wasn't
time
as much
off?
overtime. It wasn't 12 days straight. It was a regular 5-day week, but now it's
And has she gotten past this paranoia she said she had
It's
about
gotten
other
a lot
women?
better. It's gotten a lot better. It's not accusing or anything anymore. It's a lot better.
Okay, because you understand that he wasn't doing anything wrong.
I do,
He
Your
is
Honor.
okay.
And in my defense about the Facebook, if the girls are posting nothing but pictures of them naked, bent over with their butts hanging out like this, that's not your friend. Mr. Gaines is only telling part of the story. He had a whole bunch of women on there that their pages were specifically for them to just be half naked, show pictures of their butts. He had a bunch of pages on there called Just Leggings, where all it is girls
As I said,
walking,
Your Honor, that
shaking
was
their
like-
booties. And you know, when
As
we
I
got
said.
together, I gave him the opportunity to get rid of it.
How did you do that?
I told him to.
Oh, okay.
I said, you need to get rid of this. I'm
That's what you call
uncomfortable
giving
with
the
it. If you want to have a baby with me, if you want to marry me, you're not going to be looking at this girl's butt while I'm sleeping. Like, if you want to see some butt, here it is. Come look at it, you know? So that's basically how that went. And when he did it, he went through it and he deleted it. And what he said was, this is irritating. This is taking me too long. Why don't you just do it?
Okay.
And then I was like, fine, give me it. No problem. And I sat there for hours, happily, with a smile on, delete, delete, delete. Well, actually, first I was blocking him, but then I thought, because in my crazy woman mind, I'm creating him a list to go unblock. I'm not doing that. So I went and unblocked them all again, so that way they were just gone. Because he was a single man for a long time. Single man, no kids, you know, bachelor pad. So he did have a lot of...
So he built up an account.
Yes.
Of a lot of single women to look at.
And I broke it
presumably
down.
Single. Okay, but after that, after you cleansed his social media, did he go back and follow anyone or add anything, or was that so? It's a non-issue now. Did he replace any of the?
He says he didn't, but about like 6 months after that, when I went in the followings, there was like 6 girls.
She spends money and doesn't tell me she spent it until after it shows up. Oh, I bought this
$250 for a Connect 4
for that
game?
big game.
So what is it? You're at home all day with the kids?
I'm lonely, and the lack of intimacy, I replace it with spending.
If you'd like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Missed a show? Watch full episodes on our streaming platforms, and for exclusive content, go to Apple TV. What's going on with the spending issues?
The spending, that's one of the major problems now. It's
For
like,
him, not for me.
yeah, it's not a spending problem, not a major problem for you because you're doing the spending. Mainly it's she spends money and doesn't tell me she spent it until after it shows up. Oh, I bought this. And Amazon will deliver 3 or 4 packages. Like, what is this? And then she'll ask me, how much money we got left? I don't know, you spent it. So, and then she'll
What
tell
are these
me,
impulsive purchases you talk about?
all right, Judge, I got some evidence that I need to show you.
Okay, step over to the plasma.
Okay, thank you. Like, this is just some of the items that she got. Like, this shoe she bought, I was at work, $75, it doesn't really get used.
What is it? What is the shoe? What
It's
does
a
that do?
chair.
Oh, it's a chair. Okay.
It's a chair, but nobody sits in the chair
$250 for a Connect 4
for that
game?
big game that's been used twice. And this is the garage. Like,
All of the items that's been purchased?
Like, this is the bounce house. Hasn't been inflated, and I have no idea how long. 1 swimming pool, 2, 3 swimming pools. I think that might be another pool back there.
Thank you, sir. So what is it? You're at home all day with the kids?
I'm lonely and bored, and I feel like the lack of intimacy, I replace it with spending. And the pandemic is making it so much worse because I have nothing to do. I'm a stay-at-home mom, 2 special needs kids. My daughter is like a little Tasmanian devil. She's like 4 people in one. So she climbs things, she breaks things, she screams, she doesn't take naps, she only sleeps 4 hours a day. Both of my kids are nonverbal. I don't have any friends. I don't have any family. He's gone all day, but I don't know what to do about it. I'm like so lonely and bored and I have nothing to do. That gives me something to do.
Have the 2 of you discussed these issues and talked and tried to communicate?
He says nothing to me. He never tells me no. In
Your Honor,
17
I can't say
years.
no about things that I don't know that you're doing.
When I asked him
You
for the
don't
dog,
ask,
Your Honor.
how can I say no?
You say you can't say no because you don't know about these purchases, but you have a garage full of items, sir. At some point, you realize that she is spending a lot of money and she's buying a lot of things. So have you not been able to communicate and have this conversation about the adjustments that need to be made to
Yes,
address the fact that she is feeling lonely? She is at home all day by herself with the 2 kids, and I know that you're out working, but have you had a conversation about how the 2 of you can compromise about this?
It seems like she doesn't actually hear where my side is coming from. She wants me to really understand and focus on where she's coming from, but it's like my side isn't being heard. Like,
What is your side?
I work almost every single day.
Yes.
At least now I'm working 10 hours at least every day. I'm like the lead guy at my job. So I have to go there and manage all these adults.
I understand that.
So I can't come home and then manage exactly everything that's going on in the house. I shouldn't have to manage you overspending all of our money. You should have some type of a filter. You know, that shouldn't be my sole responsibility.
That is true.
Especially if I'm at work and you order a bunch of things off Amazon, how can I say no to that?
Because you both come across as good people trying to do the right thing with your kids, with your careers, and with your marriage.
Yeah.
And you're both struggling, though, to see how your actions are impacting the relationship. Raising a special needs child is already difficult. And when you have two, I can only try to relate to the challenges that you face. And you compound that with parents who are already exhausted and facing other challenges, and it just makes it even harder.
Yeah, it does.
But I think there are a couple of things that the two of you can do to make this marriage less stressful, because what I'm seeing today is you're stressed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both of you are.
Thank you so much.
You're 33 years old. You cannot expect to look to your husband solely to tell you how to manage and deal with money. Even though you're home all the time and this is your outlet, it's not his responsibility to teach you at this point. You have to take some responsibility for that yourself. You are being passive in your communication and not setting enough boundaries, and you're using your job as an excuse to check out of a lot of things with the marriage and with the kids, and you're burying yourself in your work. But you have a family now, and things come up when there's a family, and the two of you have to learn how to deal with it and communicate together, because the answer is not, he can't look at other women. He can't have all these women on his Facebook page. That's not the real issue. The real issue is you want more attention.
Yeah, it is.
And you want to feel loved, and so you're going out buying $400 games because that's the way you're getting attention, because maybe he's going to pay attention to the money you're spending since that's the priority to him and he's working all the time.
Yeah, you're right, Your Honor. And I feel like he doesn't say anything because he might feel guilty that he's not home. But I know it's wrong. I know it is.
Do you want to save the marriage, sir?
Absolutely.
What about you, ma'am?
Absolutely.
Okay. I think that the two of you would benefit from some professional help and counseling, because the responsibilities that you have at home that you are carrying on your own by yourself, you say you have no family, you have few friends, you simply don't have an outlet.
None.
The two of you have to find a way to spend some time together. You have to do it. Whether it's getting a babysitter one day a week, whether it's when you have those off days, taking that time off, you have to find the time to spend some quality time together. So your needs are being met, you're getting out of the house, you're getting some time away, you're getting a break, and you also need a break. You can't just work all the time now that you have a family and you're providing for your family, and that is admirable, but there are other needs besides money.
You're
and
right,
that is
Mother.
what your wife is trying to explain and tell you. Counseling will help for the two of you. You're both good people, and I wish you both the best. Good luck.
All right.
Thank you. What I think about Judge Faith's verdict is that she's extremely intelligent. She hit the nail right on the head. She knows what she's talking about, and we're definitely going to take her advice.
That's mainly the thing. We need to understand each other's point of view.
Yeah.
And the struggles that we each have individually and together.
And we need to also validate each other. How I feel is just as important as how he feels. In the future, we'll probably do some counseling.
And just be more alert to the other person.